Hello, everybody. Good day, and welcome to our Rich Dad Poor Dad webinar and our Mastermind number 72. My name is Hanif Brown. For those of you who are in Canada, happy Family Day to you. For those of you who may not be celebrating Family Day, peace and love to all of you still. We continue here with Mastermind number 72. And today on our agenda, again, as usual for the week, we're going to be continuing with our series in Rich Dad Poor Dad. Number one, we're on the chapter of overcoming obstacles as we've been going through that. And then secondly, we'll go over a bit in terms of from a real estate standpoint. Today we're going to be talking about, we're at the letter M, so we're going from A to Z. Last week we covered loan to value and land transfer tax. And today we're going to be covering more about mortgages. We're going to have a bit of news there in terms of real estate as well. So let's see what we have there from Better Dwelling. We'll be talking about that there today as well. Then from the cryptocurrency standpoint, from an educational standpoint, we're talking about meme coins. So what exactly are these meme coins in crypto? I put an LOL in the description because people always hear about them. What is this meme coin business? You know, that actually made a lot of people a lot of money. Do not recommend gambling with this stuff. Make educated decisions. But that's what we're in for today. As a disclaimer, the content here is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. And let me just share the disclaimer on my screen here. So there are risks associated with investing in securities, investing in stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, and money market funds involves risk of loss. I'm not a licensed financial advisor and definitely not a CPA, although it's tax season, so get your taxes done. And not a lawyer, definitely not a lawyer. Please consult a licensed professional before making any decision. Again, what exactly inspired these meetings? This was inspired by the whole mastermind concept of Think and Grow Rich, that famous book written by Napoleon Hill. If you haven't read it, then get a copy ASAP if you're looking at achieving certain things in your life. Talking about what exactly is this definite chief aim, and it talks about what exactly is a mastermind group. And so I'm frequently surrounding myself with people who know way more about different industries than myself. Why? Because there's only so much that you can really know. And so when you surround yourself with professionals who know exactly what they're doing, then you can all work in on one accord in terms of getting certain things done. So as you can see here, in terms of in the introduction, it talks about you who read this book, how you get the most out of it, and that's by having your own mastermind meeting. So many people have been having their own mastermind meetings all throughout life. Even in your own company, if it is that you're having mastermind meetings, then there's one department contributing to something, another department contributes to another thing, and you all contribute to the success of the company itself. And so that's what that may look like there for you. So let's jump right into things and let's talk about Rich Dad Poor Dad overcoming obstacles. If you're just joining us again, this book was written by Mr. Robert Kiyosaki. This webinar is for those who are looking at building a better relationship with their money, understanding their finances way better. And if you're looking at, you don't need to, try to become a millionaire. If that's not your goal, that's fine. You may just want to make a couple $100 more, a couple $1,000 more. You may just want to understand your credit better, leveraging how exactly corporations work, whatever it is that it may be that's money related. Then Kiyosaki has done a good job, some may say, in terms of helping you to understand that better. That's why this book is titled Rich Dad, Poor Dad, What the Rich Teach Their Kids About Money That the Poor and the Middle Class Do Not. So those joining us here on YouTube and Facebook, special welcome to you and welcome to those who are joining us here on Zoom and watching this recording. So let's see what we've covered so far in Rich Dad, Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki. So we started out in chapter 1 talking about why the rich do not work for money. Lesson 2 talking about why exactly teach financial literacy. Don't they teach that in schools? Mind your own business in lesson 3. Literally minding your own business, and what exactly does that mean? Lesson 4 talks about the history of taxes and the power of corporations. So as tax season comes up, and you may just give it off to your accountant in terms of doing your taxes or some CPA. But if you look at taxes and where exactly they came from, you'll understand a little bit more and you'll see why many people utilize the power of corporations. I'm still even learning things with regards to how exactly corporations work. And so it's it's all there's always so much an angle that you can play. And lesson 5 talks about how exactly the rich invent money. Lesson 6, work to learn, don't work for money. And now we're at chapter 7, overcoming obstacles, which is on page 129. So let's jump right to page 129 and let's see where we are. So we started and we it was talking about different obstacles that you'll probably go through on your journey, whether it's in terms of getting becoming having a better relationship with money, and it really in anything it is that you're looking at achieving in life. And so the 5 reasons are it talks about once people have studied and become financially literate, they may actually still face roadblocks. Really? Doesn't it end out there once you're, financially literate on your way to becoming financially independent? Well, there are actually 5 main reasons why financially literate people may still not develop abundant asset columns that could produce a large cash flow. And here are the 5 reasons. There's the fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, as well as arrogance. So we talked about overcoming fear in the first part, and it's kind of normal to have fear, really. And here was a big highlight from here. For most people, the reason they don't win financially is because of the pain of losing money is far greater than the joy of being rich. So they're constantly in this mindset that I may lose that money it is that I have. But what if it is that you're rich? If that's something that you want to go after, then there's another thing. You see how winners operate as opposed to how losers operate. Failure inspires winners, where failure defeats losers. And you'll probably have some failures along the way. Some of the wealthiest people, some of the most successful people, and I don't mean in terms of material possessions, whatever success is defined as for you, you may have had some failures along your way. Then we talked about overcoming cynicism. Who exactly is a cynic when we're talking about these topics? And so Kiyosaki was sharing that story in terms of the guy who came, showed him the property, and it was a really good deal. Didn't buy it. Why? Because his neighbor told him X, Y, and Z. Well, is your neighbor a successful real estate investor? No, he's not. Why are you taking advice from him then? So those little things. And I think now we're at the topic of overcoming laziness. Actually, no, we finished this last week. So we finished overcoming laziness, talking about how busy people often are the most lazy. Like, look, many people love to just sit at home all day and just watch TV, right? And that may be your dream. It may be your dream to just lay on the beach, sip margaritas, or drink whatever it is that you want to drink and just relax. But hey, if you're true to that and you really want it, then you'll put in the work to get that kind of lifestyle. Maybe you are lazy and you recognize that. It's like, okay, I realize I'm a lazy person. So I'm going to put in the work to become financially literate, become financially independent, financially free. So it is that I can just be lazy all the time, right? You have other people working for you and you're collecting income. Now, obviously, there's nothing that exists as getting all these things without doing nothing. You have to put in the work. And so here he shares, Rich Dad believed that the words, I cannot afford it, shut down your brain. But how can I afford it opens up possibilities, excitement, and dreams. And so if you're constantly telling yourself, I cannot afford it, then you'll really never afford it. But if you put yourself in that position of how can I afford it, your mind starts to open up possibilities. Maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that, maybe I can do that. And so it opens up many possibilities in terms of how you can do a lot of things and you feel excited and you feel like you can dream again like a child who is 8 years old, not caring about what exactly it is that your financial means or restrictions are. So now we're at the topic of overcoming bad habits. Our lives as a reflection are a reflection of our habits more than our education. After seeing the movie Conan the Barbarian, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, a friend said, I'd love to have a body like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Most of the guys nodded in agreement. I even heard he was really puny and skinny at one time. Another friend added, Yeah, I heard that too. Another one said, I heard he has a habit of working out almost every day in the gym. Yeah, I'll bet he has to. Nah, said the group cynic. I'll bet he was born that way. Besides, let's stop talking about Arnold and get some beers. Oh yeah, such a cynic, such a cynic. This is an example of habits controlling behavior. I remember asking my rich dad about the habits of the rich. Instead of answering me outright, he wanted me to learn through example, as usual. When does your dad pay his bills? Rich dad asked. The first of the month, I said. Does he have anything left over? He asked. Very little, I said. That's the main thing. That's the main reason he struggles, said Rich Dad. He has bad habits. Your dad pays everyone else first. He pays himself last, but only if he has anything left over, which he usually doesn't, I said. But he has to pay his bills, doesn't he? You're saying he shouldn't pay his bills? Of course not, said Rich Dad. I firmly believe in paying my bills on time. I just pay myself first before I pay even the government. But what happens if you don't have enough money? I asked. What do you do then? The same, said Rich Dad. I still pay myself first, even if I'm short of money. My asset column is far more important to me than the government. But, I said, don't they come after you? Yes, if you don't pay, said Rich Dad. Look, I didn't say not to pay. I just said I pay myself first, even if I'm short of money. But I replied, how do you do that? And this guy's really curious. He's a kid at this time, right? It's not how. The question is why. Rich Dad said, okay, why? Motivation, said Rich Dad. Why do you think, who do you think will complain louder if I don't pay them? Me or creditors? Your creditors will definitely scream louder than you, I said, responding to the obvious. You wouldn't say anything if you didn't pay yourself. So you see, after paying myself, the pressure to pay my taxes and other creditors is so great that it forces me to seek other forms of income. The pressure to pay becomes my motivation. I've worked extra jobs, started other companies, traded in the stock market, anything just to make sure those guys don't start yelling at me. That pressure made me work harder, forced me to think, and all in all, made me smarter and more active when it comes to money. If I had paid myself last, I would have felt no pressure, but I'd be broke. So it's the fear of the government or other people you owe money to that motivates you? That's right, said Rich Dad. You see, the government bill collectors are big bullies. So are bill collectors in general. Most people give in to those bullies. They pay them and never pay themselves. You know the story of the 98-pound what is this weakling who gets sand kicked in his face? I nodded. I see that ad for weightlifting and bodybuilding lessons in the comic books all the time. Well, most people let the bullies kick sand in their faces. I decided to use the fear of the bully to make me stronger. Others get weaker. Forcing myself to think about how to make extra money is like going to the gym and working out with weights. The more I work for mental money, the more I work my mental money muscles out, the stronger I get. Now, I'm not afraid of those bullies. I like what Rich Dad was saying. So if I pay myself first, I get financially stronger, mentally and fiscally. Rich Dad nodded. And if I pay myself last, or not at all, I get weaker. So people like bosses, managers, tax collectors, bill collectors, and landlords push me around all my life just because I don't have good money habits. Rich Dad nodded, just like the 98-pound weakling. And we'll pause there for now. The next one is on overcoming arrogance. So what really is this guy saying to you, people? What exactly is he saying? Is he telling you not to pay your bills? Definitely not. You know, he wouldn't be who he is now if he did that. He wasn't paying his bills, and so this part is entitled overcoming bad habits. So let's analyze a little bit what exactly we went through here. Start talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. And if you don't know Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's ripped. You know, he's a guy super muscular, crazy, crazy muscular. So most of the guys nodded in agreement when they were talking about how ripped Arnold Schwarzenegger was. And one friend said, look, now watch this. One friend said, I even heard he was really puny and skinny at one time. So you're talking about what he was before he became extremely muscular. Another friend nodded in agreement. And then another one, I heard he has a habit of working out every day in the gym. So now we're talking about what he was before, what he is now, and what he does continuously. He's working out every day in the gym. And so two other friends were in agreement. And then one guy, there's always that one guy. Look at what this guy says. Everybody else was going along a certain kind of way. Now, I'll bet he was born that way. Besides, let's stop talking about Arnold and get some beers. Now, that may seem like a very insignificant thing, but you know what? It's really, really important because not only did this guy say that, oh, I'll bet he was born that way. Well, even if you think he was born that way, that's your opinion. Everybody else just expressed their opinion, but not that. He suggested, let's stop talking about Arnold, the guy who's ripped and how exactly he became ripped, and get some beers. Let's drink away our troubles and not think about how Arnold became so ripped, how he worked out every day, how he was really puny and skinny at one time, and how he got to where it is that he is now. Run away from people like that. If it is that you want to develop really good habits, this guy is a cynic. And you may have cynics in your life and you may not know who exactly they may be. If you look a little deeper, then you realize that there are probably people who, and you have to kind of be unapologetic when it is that you're looking at who those cynics may be. You need to protect your journey. You need to protect where it is that you'd like to be. If it's to become financially independent and you have some bad habits that you're struggling with, it's okay. It takes time and there's a reason why it's a habit. It'll take time in terms of getting out of that. And so we talked about how this is an example of bad habits controlling behavior. So and then the rest of the chapter was really about, him sharing his example of, compare this example. When does rich dad pay his bills? Last. He pays himself first. Some money into his asset column first, whatever assets that they may be. And then he pays his bills last. Most people pay their bills first. I was one person who also paid my bills first, right? And after a while, you read and you learn, and you realize that, man, like you have this to pay, there's that to pay. At first you look at how you can reduce your expenses, obviously, and increase your income. If you pay yourself first, in terms of putting money into that, oh, you're saving up to maybe buy your first property, or you're looking at JVing with someone. You're putting money into this. You're putting money into stocks and crypto and this business that you're looking at acquiring. Some money into personal development, whatever it is that may be, getting a mentor, whatever it is that may be. Then you pay your bills. Put that aside first and then you pay your bills. Because look, when the place starts calling you that you owe money, you'll find a way to pay it. Trust me, you will find a way in terms of getting it paid. But until you maybe put yourself in that situation, then you don't become uncomfortable enough to actually figure out a way to find a solution. It's not for everybody, right? But this is the whole reason as to why you're going through this book is so it is that you can grow and learn. And so if you have that habit and you're still looking at growing, then it's time you look at, you do some introspection. I had to do this. Each time I read this book and other books, you're doing constant introspection because you want to be better. You want to be better with what it is that you are doing. And so pay yourself first, whatever it is that may look like for you. Increasing your education in a certain area so you can earn more if you're working a job, then that may be it for you if it is that you're looking at being in that E column as an employee. If you're looking at starting your own business, that takes capital or it takes money to, buy a corporation. It takes money in terms of legal fees, having an accountant, bookkeeping, and these things. And so whatever it is that may look like for you. So really that's what it was talking about in terms of overcoming your bad habits. And then the second part is talking about overcoming arrogance, which we're not going to go into today. So that's really it for Rich Dad Poor Dad today, overcoming those bad habits. It takes a strong person to really look in the mirror, say that, you know what, this is something I have been doing and I actually want to be better with this. But what does that look like for you? Already you look and you realize that I can be better. Well, great. See how you can be better, work on it, see where you are, see where you'd like to be, and see what exactly it's going to take in terms of for you getting to where you would like to be. So I'll pause there for now, and next week we'll continue with overcoming arrogance. You're probably like, I'm not arrogant. Okay, sure, we will see. So let's get into real estate now, people. So today we're at the letter M, and we are talking about one of the most frequent words, which is mortgages, right? Last week we're talking about loan to value. That's probably something that less people are familiar with, and land transfer tax. But from an investment standpoint, maybe investors will know a little bit more about that. But even if you're not investing, then you've probably heard of a mortgage. You've probably come in some interaction with what exactly a mortgage is. So what exactly is it? A mortgage is a type of loan used to purchase or maintain a home, plot of land, or other types of real estate. The borrower agrees to pay the lender over time, typically in a series of regular payments that are divided into principal and interest. The property then serves as collateral to secure the loan. A borrower must apply for a mortgage to their preferred lender and ensure that they meet several requirements, including minimum credit scores and down payments. Mortgage applications go through a rigorous underwriting process before they reach the closing phase. Mortgage types, such as conventional or fixed rate loans, vary based on the needs of the borrower. So, what does all of that mean in simple terms? In simple terms, all it is this, right? Um, Many people when they're looking at buying maybe their car, somebody buying their first car, maybe you buy it cash or maybe you finance it. Um, Maybe you're looking at a car that's no less than maybe $20,000 if it's maybe your first car, probably less than that if it's the first one, 15 USD or CAD, whichever one. And that's a goal that is more within reach for a lot of people. Oh yeah, I can save up this amount every month, and by the end of the year, you'll have Y amount. You've successfully budgeted and you've determined of something it is that you want. Great. Well, do the same thing. You did that with a car. Let's do that with a house now, or an investment property. Likely you're looking at least $100,000. Even if you're looking at mini homes, maybe you'll get them for 50, 60,000, $70,000. But still, that's a stretch. Many people don't even make that in a year, and so you can save up over time for it, but likely you will need financing. So, what exactly does that mean? That financing is a mortgage. So, essentially, you want this item, maybe it's a home. You realize that, okay, well, let's not use home, let's use investment properties. You realize that this triplex costs, and that's a three-unit building, costs maybe, $350,000 or 360, whatever. 400,000 is a bit much. But yeah. Um you realize that okay, that's what it is. But how do I get $360,000? I mean, saving up, it looks like a lot. So these things are set up in a certain way where it is that you make a certain down payment to you approach the bank to say, hey bank, I do not have $360,000 cash to pay this. So I realize that you're willing to loan me money so I can buy this property, so I can either have it as an investment or live in it, whichever one. So the bank now says to you that, oh, okay, well, let's see. Let me see how, good you've been in terms of paying back other loans. What's your credit score? Huh? Tell me what's your credit score. And if your credit score is good, the bank is like, huh, okay, you got something going here, right? And then the bank will say, all right, tell you what, based on this, based on this, based on that, you're probably dealing with a mortgage professional at that point. They'll say, this is what we're willing to loan you based on what it is that you have going on, your income, your credit scores, and whatever else they have going on there in the underwriting process. So the bank says, and that's where loan to value comes in. So the value of the property is, for example, $360,000. The bank tells you that this is great. We're going to give you 80% loan to value. So you 360,000 times 80%, the bank loans you a whopping $288,000. But the bank says, hold on. We're not just gonna give you that money. Again, you are business to the bank. You are making the bank money. You do not forget that. Same thing with the government. So the bank will now say, we're loaning you this money. And you talk about the amortization period, 20, 25, 30 years. So you have 25, 30 years to pay off this loan at a rate of interest of whatever that may be, 5, 6, 7%, for those talking about 3, 4%, 5%, great. It's earlier times. Now things are a little bit more. So now you are now committed to paying off this mortgage over a period of time. And here's where the collateral part comes in. The property then serves as collateral to secure the loan. So collateral, how does that work? If it is that the bank says, well, tell you what, we see that you've been diligent in making payments, good credit score, you've paid 20% of the property value. What's that? 60, $72,000, right? But tell you what, let's just add something in it. We're gonna have this property as collateral. So in case you try to get cheeky or lose your job or you try to like run off or something, if you stop making these payments, we're gonna seize this property. How about that? Those are our terms for us loaning you $288,000. You agree? Then we'll loan you the money. If not, you can go somewhere else, right? And so you agree to the paperwork and you're locked into the mortgage. And many people, it's, the happiest days of their lives, they buy their first home. Well, you're really signing up for debt immediately, right? There's an emotional factor to it if it is a family home or so. But if it's a property they're buying for investment purposes, look, don't buy it emotionally. Buy that because it makes sense and it's gonna make you money. You need to make sure it is that certain things are working on in terms of debt servicing. You talk about your net operating income, how the property is performing, etc., etc. So there's a lot more to mortgages, right? There are loans used to buy homes and other types of real estate. Property serves it as a collateral for the loan and so much more that is there. So for all these things, consult your mortgage professional, be a mortgage broker, see if you can get the best rates and more. And it takes time, So the first time you visit the mortgage broker isn't the first time that you go ahead and you go ahead and you buy the property. Shop around, get to know different mortgage brokers and see who's able to get you that best rate it is that you may be looking for, build a relationship with them, right? You're looking at a large transaction. It's likely it's the biggest purchase many people will make in their lives or have made or make in their lives. And so you want to take some time in terms of making that decision. So that's what it is that you're really looking at right there. So that's that. Let's look at the news, looking at better dwelling. What do we have here today? Top stories: banks warn Canada set impossible targets for housing and job creation. Man, I can't tell the last time I looked at this thing and there was some good news. Canadian housing supply targets don't make sense, will never be hit. That's Bank of Montreal, one of the big five banks here, saying that Canadian building construction investment fell sharply before rate hikes. Wow. So less people started investing in construction even before rate hikes went up a lot. Wow. Canadian real estate market is balanced, but spring activity uncertain. So likely, spring is the time when it is that there's a lot more activity normally going on in the markets, like people hibernate. So you find there are a lot more transactions going on in the spring. So let's see this week's top stories. Let's see what we have in the top stories. Canadian housing supply targets do not make sense and will never be hit. That's a very strong statement. That's not BMO saying, tell you what, we like what you're saying, but maybe you're kind of off. Your targets are never gonna be hit. That's what BMO is saying in terms of what the Canadian housing supply targets are. Wow. Canadian building construction investment fell sharply before rate hikes. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing where a big five bank is disagreeing with what exactly the targets for housing supply are here in Canada. One. Two, Canadian building construction investment fell sharply before rate hikes. So analyzing before rates before rates were hiked up, central bank decided to do that. Even before then, Canadian building construction investment was falling. So it was already falling. And then as a result of rate hikes, people who are building, they're like, look, this already didn't make sense. And now with the rate hikes, it even makes way less sense. What do you want us to do here? That's not good news. Canadian real estate market is balanced, but spring activity uncertain, BMO. Canadian bond yields surge, mortgage costs to climb ahead of spring market. Wow. Canada's labor market absorbing its population boom is impossible. That's by National Bank. So there's no good news that's going on. There is no good news, people. There is no good news. There is no good news. And you know what? That's fine and that's good. This makes one have to look at things a little bit more carefully. I'm not going to go into any of the articles there in particular, but you're seeing a kind of theme there. Big Five Bank disagreeing with what exactly is this Canadian housing supply target. Canada's labor market absorbing its population boom is impossible. That's by National Bank. That one should be interesting because we're seeing a lack of skilled labor in terms of from a construction standpoint. I was listening to the numbers in terms of the amount of immigrants that have come in as skilled workers and how many of them were actually working in the construction industry. It was not good. It was not a good number. You know, you'd think that because the Canada needs more housing supply, they would be recruiting a lot more people in that field, but you know, it seems like that is not exactly the case. So, what's the solution? Uh, Many people have their own theories. The solution for yourself is, you know, to be careful as it is that you're doing things in the housing market. You know, don't make emotional decisions. Make decisions based on what the numbers say. If you're investing, then it's definitely um, gives a lot of thought in terms of becoming creative, right? In terms of what it is that you're doing. Rates are up. One of the number one questions I realize people like to ask is, when do you think rates are gonna go down? You know, like like I don't know. I really don't know. And if you ask anybody else, they can't tell you. We can hypothesize as to when we think rates are gonna go down based on different things, but genuinely, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Genuinely, people don't know. You know, we don't do it. Central bank makes the decisions based on different things, KPIs, inflation, etc. Um, so that's that in terms of from a real estate standpoint. If you're looking at investing in real estate, right, you know, get educated, find somebody who understands the market way better than you, and you know, talk with them about how exactly you can work with each other in terms of you achieving your results before it is, because it's really easy to get into a property, but you know, it's really difficult in terms of getting out. Let me just plug in my computer here. Yeah, and there's no wrong or right time in terms of buying a deal, but you know, it's always a good time to get a good deal. It's always a bad time to buy a bad deal. So what are we dealing with here from the crypto standpoint now? We're at M. We are talking about meme coins. So the whole cryptocurrency market is a whole other different kind of market that's gained a lot of attraction. Bitcoin ETFs being approved more recently. Um, Again, let me just share my screen here. These are some of the big companies that are involved and utilizing blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. You'll see some mainstream names there. For example, Visa, Pfizer, Shell, and in different industries as well, banking and finance, healthcare, supply chain management, governments, Internet of Things, travel, insurance, right? You're seeing DHL there in terms of from a healthcare standpoint, the Seoul government, in travel, Delta Airlines. And so this technology has rapidly evolved and to now to the point where how much money is in this industry? $1.97 trillion, a whopping $1.97 trillion. Now, there are 708 different exchanges, 2.2 million plus different cryptocurrencies. And of this $1.97 trillion, 51.9% is in Bitcoin, 17.6% is in Ethereum, and the rest is in what's called altcoins. Altcoins. So all the other coins, right, are altcoins. If you don't want to guess as to which coins do I buy. I mean, I can't tell you which ones to buy, but the top two is probably a good place in terms of starting, right? You don't have to buy one Bitcoin myth. You don't have to buy one Ethereum myth. You can buy it fractionally. So whereas you can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin, like literally, buy, hold, and just leave, and see what happens for those who are very low risk in terms of that and just want some exposure to the asset in their own portfolio. This market is growing. It doesn't seem like it's going to be is going to go away. Definitely not. This is a new age of technology. And so understanding, that's why I set out on a journey in terms of understanding what exactly it is. And that's the way I end up talking about meme coins here today. Let me get back on meme coins. So meme coins are the crypto tokens created as a joke or a meme and claim to offer huge gains to holders. So this meme coin business, a crypto analog of memes, and came into being as a cheaper Bitcoin substitute. The first meme coin, named Dogecoin, was based on the famous Shiba Inu meme. Apart from Dogecoin, some of the most popular meme coins include Doge Elon Mars, Shiba Inu, Flocky Inu, Samoyed coin, man, and there's so much. There's so many like dog with hat these days, and so much more. Um, these are some of the most popular meme coins: Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Doge Elon Mars, Samoyed coin, and Hodge Finance. So what do meme coins offer? They talk about that a little bit more. And let's see. Crypto meme coins. And if you realize I'm getting all this information here from Google, I continuously do that because none of this information is hidden. There's Chat GPT and all sorts of stuff these days that many people can use. So here are a lot of different meme coins. Pepe is one of the more newer ones. They always have these funny characters, these cryptocurrencies. You see, this is the Dodge one. This is the Shibli. Look at this dog, Tama, Floki, and Pepe. Pepe the frog. So they always have some really, funny, funny characters in terms of what it is that you see that they are there. And there are new ones being born all the time. Solana was the latest blockchain that had a lot of different meme coins. So let's see which one is the top in terms of market cap here with on coin market cap. So the biggest meme coin by market cap, so that's the most money that's really in that meme coin is Dogecoin, right? Dogecoin. That's the biggest meme coin that we're looking at here. So $12 billion, that's in Dogecoin. And then I think Shiba Inu is probably the next biggest one at number 17, 5.8 billion. That's in Shiba Inu. And so frequently you'll see where it is that in a cryptocurrency bull market, these meme coins, because there's no fundamentals to them, really what you see happening is that when it comes on to people making decisions in buying and selling, it's all based on sentiment and based on emotion. That's literally it. It's like when Pepe came out. Pepe was the newest thing. It was the hottest thing. Everybody was buying it. Suddenly it died down. The hype dies down, and it's like the price drops. So whereas on a regular day, you'll see probably a 5% increase in what the price of 2%, 1% increase in what the price of Bitcoin is, or a decrease, percentage change up or down, or Ethereum or BNB or Solana. With meme coins, normally you see probably even like a 5% like change in terms of on a 24-hour basis, or even in the last hour. It's super, super volatile. Super, super volatile. And so that's one feature in terms of meme coins. The communities are really, really strong though. And you'll find many people, crypto degens, that They love the meme coins as you can actually make a significant amount of money from meme coins. So there are a lot of different ones. Let's look at, and so in conclusion, I'll stop here for today. Let's look at the Bitcoin price history over time, and we will stop there. Then I'm going to turn off the recording. I'm only going to be on Zoom. So if you have questions, then feel free to go ahead and have those questions. And let me just look at the chart and then I'm gonna hit stop. Stop there with the live. Here's loading data. So that's what's going on. From an investment standpoint, people, as usual, we're always analyzing different opportunities in the real estate market, doing our numbers a bit more tighter these days, preparing for different situations. Many investors right now are in a certain position. Why? Because the numbers worked in terms of buying a property at 4% in terms of what you're getting for your interest rate, maybe 4.5%. But now interest rates are way more, you're looking at 6, 7%. And so the property just simply doesn't cash flow at that point. You're looking at 10, 15, 20% increase on what it is that you're paying in your mortgage. Even if after it is that you've increased your rents, you factor in inflation, things just don't make sense. And you find many people are selling because of that. Property is now bleeding you. So let's look at this all-time chart here. Um, that's what it is that you look at more creative solutions and more in terms of what it is that you can do. And so hey, it's all a part of business. There are swings, there are ups and there are downs, and that's fine. So current price of Bitcoin is 51,751. We're seeing where it is that back in January 2012, this price was just like 5 cents, literally 5 cents, or was it $15? Whichever one, $15, yeah. That's a crazy amount of increase, right? And simply based on how demand and supply works and the fundamentals of Bitcoin, the halving is coming up. People are interested to see what exactly this halving is going to cause in terms of price swings. Is it going to cause Bitcoin's price to go up? Is it going to cause Bitcoin's price to go down? A lot of the long-time hodlers, when they saw that the institutional investors came in, and well, rather the ETFs being approved, they started selling their bitcoins actually as well, because a lot of people, when everybody was saying that Bitcoin, this cryptocurrency stuff is a fad, many people were still holding on, right? And so still many people are still holding on because there's only 21 million Bitcoin that is in existence. Many of it has been lost, and that's a whole other story as well. Um but you're seeing where a lot of people have been cashing in. Maybe you've been holding since 2012. It's been like 14 years. You're considering, what, let me cash out. Many people looked at that. In news in cryptocurrency market, lots of different news that's going on here. Um, I'm not gonna go too deep inside of it, but just so you see what it's like, where Coinbase Canada goes, so does the world. Trust Wallet launches Swift smart contract wallet with Biconomy. The goal is number go up inside the DAO's radical government governance experiment. Craig Wright witness defense saying headed for a train wreck with COPA trial. Craig Wright is the one that claims that he's Satoshi Nakamoto, the one that created what exactly Bitcoin is. And so that's that, everybody. From an investment standpoint, we have Airbnb arbitrage deals available, multi-unit buildings that we are working on. Certain minimum investments required, at least 50,000 is what it is that we're looking for. But if you have 25, we can look at that, but you're getting a little bit less in equity. That's in terms of from a real estate standpoint. Um, and then from a cash flow standpoint, then we have opportunities where it is that you're able to earn a certain amount of income per month, right? That's something I'll have to talk with each person individually about in terms of that, but that's a whole other conversation. So that's that. Stay tuned, keep healthy, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again next week, everybody. Let me stop this. There we go. And stop.